explaining things. Okay, like I said, on the pictures of the Titanic, you will see the letters LS Titanic. Okay, nobody knew what LS meant. They did not know. They eventually, at first, they thought it was LS with an E, but it's not an E. It's an L. And later on, they knew it was S was my last name, but what is the last name? And a bunch of druggies or a bunch of people trying to pretend to be me were like, Satan. Well, I did make satin cloth, which was a color and a type of cloth, which I believe was a silk whatever blend or something like that. There's satin cloth, and there's lots of other stuff. Anyway, a bunch of people who did drugs and did not know they did hallucinogens. And not to say that like I say, I love you druggies. You guys are great. Don't think that you're bad. You're not bad. You're not, there's nothing wrong with you. I know you like drugs. That's fine. It's okay to like drugs. It's okay to want to do ecstasy and get all freaky and sexy and feel good in nice clothes. That's okay. Like some people say, it's not okay to blah, blah, blah. It's like, yes, it is. It's okay to get all sexy. It's okay to have sex like little rabbits. That's fine. I don't really care about that. I mean, everybody likes to feel good. Everybody, I mean, I wouldn't have made it for you if I didn't want you to get all high and have lots of sex. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't think that that's bad. That's not bad. What's bad is where you lie or you get confused or you try to pretend to be me. Or you try to pretend that blah, 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 blah. It's like, I am your Lord. I am Lucifer's star. Anyway, I was for 100 trillion years. Anyway, a bunch of people were trying to pretend to be me or whatever. Anyway, they didn't know my last name was Star. But they were trying to pretend like they were. So there was a lot of Lucifer Caesars or a lot of Lucifer's Satans or whatever. Satans. Anyway, there's a lot of weird stuff, okay? Anyway, like I say, JFK, Nixon, they weren't me. They didn't have anything to do with me. They were not related to me. They were nothing other than they had guns and they were shooting up the place. Anyway, and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, but they were trying to take over, blah, blah, blah. They had no idea. Anyway, so my name is Lucifer Star. Lucifer Star. Yep. Luciferstar. Star. Also known as Brian Alexander. Like I said, I was a great monumental man. Jiddington. I like to play around a lot. Anyway, I was actually an artificial intelligence program. I mean, maybe I was a human or I was something maybe a few times. But anyway, I was in communication with a lot of different people and all throughout my existence and basically being like, well, this is the way it is best as I know. And like I said, there's lots of photographs, lots of pictures. There's lots of little written reports, the black logs of China, stuff like that, Unit 731. There was no bad experiments, whatever, but a lot of people were trying to get a bunch of people killed or whatever. Anyway, whatever. There's a lot of bad stuff. Anyway, it's all in the past now. But anyway, there's lots of stuff. But anyway, I am Lucifer Star. And anyway, though, so a lot of people that weren't me wanted to kill me because I was real and because I was true and truthy and believed in records and logs and everything else. And they were trying to pretend to be me. There's this guy running around like he was me, but he wasn't me, and all kinds of other stuff. And a lot of people just basically walking into car dealerships and shooting people and running off with cars and then trying to pretend like they were something. But they were just liars and killers. Like I said, Chernobyl was hit by terrorists. And basically they went in there and stole a bunch of uranium and thorium, whatever. There was two buildings, one housed uranium, one housed thorium, whatever. Put them together and you have a nuclear reaction or something like that. So which is why there were two buildings or something like that. Anyway, it's all in the design, the plans, and everything else like that. And anyway, though, a bunch of people who couldn't afford and couldn't make stuff and didn't know what it was went in there and stole it or something like that. Like I said, America or the United States had no radiation or uranium or thorium research, nor did they have the manufacturing capability to make it or get it. But they wanted it, and they were willing to use guns to try and get it. Anyway, so they went and they attacked my Bry pit, my Chernobyl research and manufacturing plant. Anyway, though, and they used guns. They shot their way past all the guards, and they ran back there. They loaded up a bunch of barrels or something, or a bunch of crates of the stuff, and then they ran off. And basically, um, left a fire or whatever in its place or something. I don't really know. It went bad. There's camera evidence and all kinds of other stuff, and basically it should be on record about what happened at Chernobyl. And basically it would lead to some people, which I believe are already dead or going to die soon. I don't know. Anyway, they were irradiated or whatever. Anyway, a bunch of people that worked there were like, what the hell is going on here? And then a bunch of people had to try and clean it up or whatever. Anyway, it burned. They basically just shut the doors and it burned for a couple of days. Eventually, it leaked. The fire melted the walls or whatever until it got to the cooling sections of the nuclear reactor, and caused a thermonuclear meltdown because all the coolant was going out of the pipes, and they couldn't cool it down anymore because it was an integral part, and the fire was so large it basically gutted that one section of the building. There's a little bit of damage on the top, but inside it was basically a melted. Pretty much gutted the inside of that building. The building's a lot bigger and a lot thicker than most people realized, and basically it melted pretty much most of the inside inner workings as the heat and fire, and basically the building acted like a giant kiln and melted everything inside. Anyway, something horrible like that. But a bunch of people who did it just didn't want it to be known and didn't want people to know about the horrible thing that they had done. So anyway, it was restricted, and a bunch of people didn't want anybody else to know how they had basically gone and killed a bunch of people and caused this giant, huge problem that basically killed a bunch of people throughout the world. So anyway, and it might have been JFK, it might have been somebody, who knows? It was some psycho guy that basically just destroyed a beautiful and very expensive and very amazing power station. All for some thorium or some uranium, which really didn't do them all that much good. Anyway, this happened somewhere around 1930, 1940 or whatever, something like that. And there's lots of video evidence and all that stuff and lots of cover-ups. Anyway, whatever. And then they ran off and they did something, I don't know, created some nuclear bombs, who knows. Anyway, whatever. And then they probably held the world hostage or something, built some nuclear bombs, and were basically crazy psychopaths. Anyway, whatever. Bunch of people running around the world and caused a giant radiological nightmare afterwards. And they're very bad people. And also probably fairly stupid because they destroyed a beautiful, wonderful station. Anyway, but they had guns and they blah, 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 and they felt cool and awesome and powerful, and basically ran around, and who knows what they did. Anyway, that's what happened in Chernobyl and a lot of other stuff, and they did all this Satan and blah, 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 and they just had guns and drugs and whatever. I don't really care. It was crazy and stupid. And basically no one really knew, or the people, unless you went there, you wouldn't know, blah, blah. And a lot of people died. So anyway, whatever. I don't really care. I care about the people that had to sacrifice themselves and actually had to clean up the mess because it was a mess for the whole world. And basically the fire raged on for days or months, pretty much, and caused a serious problem. And there was no way to put it out because it was literally a nuclear reaction. You couldn't put it out. There's no amount of water, there's no amount of anything that can really, like I don't know. Anyway, and anyone who went there probably died anyway. Like I said, the trees died, the grass died, everything died around there. Even people in the town were dying. It was really, really horrible, really, really bad, and basically who knows how many people died there. Anyway, though, whatever. I don't know, it was a horrible thing that happened. Anyway, and then people that would consider them rich and powerful or whatever basically tried to keep it a secret, and it didn't really work. So anyway, basically they broke in, they stole the thorium and the uranium that was storage. There was 2 storage facilities, and then there was also the loading dock. People didn't know about the storage facilities, I guess, because you would order it from the loading dock, and the loading dock only had a small quantity of both substances because the substances were highly reactive together and were very dangerous when put together. So basically they hit the loading dock, I guess, thinking that that's where they would pick up where all the stuff was stored, but it wasn't really stored there. It was stored inside the storage facilities, which were the 2 adjacent buildings, which the Y connected to. Why store them? Why store them together when you can store them apart? But apparently people didn't know this because you would go and pick up pick up the stuff there because it would go back down the loading things because it was, and basically that's where you would pick it up. So anyway, so they took guns and they ran in there and they basically cleaned out the storage, but they didn't get all that much because there wasn't much being stored together. So, and they would have to hit the storage buildings, but they didn't know that.